Hi everyone, and welcome to the Australian graphics card buying guide for the beginning of September 2023. I find the best graphics cards available in different price categories, and I analyze those by correlating the raster and ray tracing performance of every card with the current best Australian on-shelf price. So I'm not talking about recommended retail, I'm talking about the actual on-shelf price, and I find the best prices you can pay for those cards across Australia. I use PC Part Picker, Static Ice, eBay, and OzBargain to find the best prices, and not all of these are included in PC Part Picker, so it's not always easy to find the best price available. My GPU ranking is based on the Tom's Hardware GPU raster and ray tracing leaderboards. I take these scores and I correlate them to the Australian prices to figure out what purchase makes the most sense. I provide these videos on a regular basis, so if you're going to buy a graphics card in the future, probably best to check back here and watch my latest video. Before we kick off, I would love if you guys could leave a comment below. What I want to know is, what is it that you find the most helpful out of these videos? For example, is it just that you don't know how to find the best price of the graphics card that you want to buy? Or is it that you just don't even know what graphics card you should buy and you don't really know much about graphics cards in general, so you need some technical advice on what's best for what purpose? Let me know what you find most helpful. I'm trying to figure out what it is that people like about these videos and dislike so that I know where I can improve and what I need to keep. So kicking off, I always like to show you guys what game bundles are available with different graphics card vendors at any given time. So at the moment, the Starfield promotion is still going with AMD cards. So if you purchase a Radeon graphics card, in any of these categories, the 6600, 6600 XT, 6650 XT, or 7600, you'll get Starfield Standard Edition with your purchase. And if you purchase the 6700 or above, you'll get Starfield Premium Edition. So that deal is still ongoing. It also applies to some AMD processors, but I'm only talking about graphics cards. Nvidia also has the Overwatch 2 promotion going at the moment, so if you purchase any 4000 series Nvidia cards, you'll get Overwatch 2. With these promotions, people get a bit confused how to actually claim the game. When you get the card, it doesn't automatically come with the game. You have to email or contact the vendor who you purchased it from, and they are obligated to send you a token, a voucher number to claim the game. And that's usually done through Steam or NVIDIA, an NVIDIA web page or an AMD web page. So don't forget when you purchase your card to email the person that you purchased it from. And claim your voucher for your free game. Kicking off, we have our leaderboards, our price guide. So first thing is, what is the best graphics card that you can buy for under $300? And at the moment, that is the ARC A770 8GB. First time a Intel card has hit the leaderboard. Now, it is a little bit over 300 at $340, but you can also get the A750 for $320, I believe. I've listed it down here. The A750 is $329, so that's only $30 more. And yeah, the A770 is only $10 more from that. So, you're spending a bit more than 300, but it's definitely worth it. You get 8 gigs of memory. The A770 also takes place for the best ray tracing and memory card, and card based on the amount of memory available in this price category at the moment. This card for $340 is available at Umart. It's an ASRock Intel Arc A770 Phantom Gaming DOC 8G graphics card. That is a mouthful, guys. Come on, what are you doing? Yeah, there it is. Now that board partners are making Intel cards, you are getting kind of better coolers. Although I prefer the look of the reference Intel cards. This kind of thing is a bit gaudy for me. But in terms of performance, that's probably the best card we've seen in this price category for performance. So that's really great. And the reason that this is happening at the moment is Intel has just released some new graphics drivers. So I want to show you guys what's happened with Intel just in the past month. So hardware unboxed, as well as PC perspective, have done some retests of the Intel A750. Now, in their testing of the A750 with the new graphics drivers, they've actually shown that on a lot of occasions, this card is now performing so well that it's above the 3060 Ti. In some instances, it's above the 7600. And if you take a look at the hardware on box results, they concluded that it's a total of just 12% slower than the RTX 4060. So if you take those updated numbers into account, I've plugged them into the Tech Power Up leaderboard, and where that actually ends up putting the Intel Arc card is right here. So this list is based on the Tom's Hardware leaderboard with the most powerful raster card at the top and least at the bottom. This is based on 1440p Ultra performance. So what we're seeing here is that the Arc A750 is now sitting at 37.6% the performance of the RTX 4090, and that's how the leaderboard is ranked. It's based on percentage performance to the RTX 4090, which is the fastest card on the market. The reason this is a big deal is because previously it was only 36.5%. So they've actually bumped up 2 places on the leaderboard just from a driver update. So this just shows Intel are making a lot of improvements to their card's performance. Now you might think, well, that's not such a big update in performance, but just keep in mind that is the average, right? 37.6%. So in some games it probably didn't change, but in other games it might have gone up, 15% or something like that. So just a small bump in the average performance can actually be a really big difference in some games. All right, now that's why the A770 on my performance leaderboard, if we go across to my performance leaderboard, which has all the Australian prices on it as well. So again, we have the best performing at the top, least performing at the bottom, and we can see all the Australian prices. And here is the A750. It used to be sitting here below the Radeon 7 and below the 5700 XT, but with the improvements from its driver updates, it's now sitting up here just below the 3060 12G. And in fact, it's actually pretty much tied with the 3060 12G. If you look at the actual numbers, it's not far off, although it is only an 8GB card. Now, how does this relate to the A770, which is the card I'm recommending? Well, the A770 hasn't been retested by Hardware Unboxed or anyone else I've noticed, but it runs on the same drivers as the A750. So the driver improvements to the A750 carry across to the A770. So I'm thinking this A770 is going to be bumped up this list as well if it gets retested. So the A770 at the moment, I think, is a really good purchase, and that's why I've put it for the best card under $300, although it is a little bit over $300. Continuing on my price guide, the next category we have is the best card below $500. And at the moment, that is for raster performance, that is the 6750 XT, which is a 12GB graphics card. 12 gigs is a really great amount of memory for the price that you're paying. So the 6750 XT for just $528 is available from Centacom. It is free shipping as well, so that's really great. Thank you, Centacom. And yeah, that is mildly discounted, although this is the cheapest you can get on the market, the cheapest 6750 XT that I could find. So that's a really good purchase for the price. For ray tracing performance, the best card you can purchase under $500 is the RTX 3060 Ti. This card is available from megabuy.com.au and it's only $450. Now these guys, although they sell their cards quite cheap, they sell them as refurbished, so keep that in mind. However, they do still come with the 12-month new card purchase warranty. This one is a Gainwood dual fan model. They also have a single fan ASUS model for the same price, but it's always better to get dual fan instead of single fan if you've got the option, you'll just get better thermals. So there is the 3060 Ti. And for memory in this category, it is also the 6750 XT with its 12 gigs of memory, which is no surprise. You're not going to beat 12 gigs at this price point. Our next category is the best card below $700, and for raster performance, it is the RTX 3070 Ti. This one is available through an eBay promotion. So it's $799 from Computer Alliance through their eBay store, but you can actually get it for $679 if you use a promotional code. And it says right down here in very small writing, show me how. If you click on that, it says, here's the code AUGG15, and that'll get you down to $679. However, there is another promotional code which they don't tell you about, and that code is AUGG17, and that'll get you 17% off instead of the 15%, but you have to be an eBay Plus member. Okay, so AUGG17 gets you 17% off. eBay Plus you can get for free on a free trial, I think for like a week or two. So if you want to get that extra couple of percent off, it might be worth it just to sign up to eBay Plus. But there it is. That is the best price for a 3070 Ti that you can get. Now, the 3070 Ti also takes the crown for ray tracing in this category. But just be mindful, the 3070 Ti is only an 8GB graphics card. And when you get into this price range, I recommend to get more than 8GB, whatever you do. Even though it's the best raster and ray tracing performing card, it won't take long for games to start coming out now that really don't run very well on 8GB cards. And that 8GB limit is going to be your bottleneck for performance at some point. So if you want to get a card with more memory around the same price, I actually found a really good deal which is just crazy, because for the past 2 months I've been telling you guys, whatever you do not buy the 4060 Ti 16GB, because it's an absolute ripoff and Nvidia is rorting us Australians. Well, I found a model that's selling for $670 this time round, and that is way cheaper than any other 16GB 4060 Ti in the market. So it's actually come into the leaderboard. So where do you buy this from? Well, it's this obscure store from Western Australia called stormcomputers.com.au. And here it is. Look at this. Asus Dual RTX 4060 Ti 16G, $669. That is actually a really good deal. And if you're looking to spend around $650, you should scoop this up. That's a good purchase. It's the latest 4000 series card. It'll come with the free Overwatch 2 game, and that is way cheaper than any other 16GB 4060 Ti that is on the market at the moment. To show you what I'm talking about, if we go to PC Part Picker and we just go search video cards, right? And we want to find a 4060 Ti. Okay, so here's all our 4060 Ti's, order by price. The cheapest one there is 580. That's an 8GB model. So we scroll down to find 16GB. And here's the cheapest 16GB that's on PC Part Picker, and it is $799, $800. $800 on PC Part Picker. So if you're just going based on PC Part Picker, that's what you're going to spend. But I found one here that is $670, way cheaper. So there you go. All right. Moving on, our next category is the best card below $900. And for raster performance, that is the RX 6800 XT, which is a whopping 16 gigs of memory. Now, every now and then, Amazon actually has good deals on graphics cards, and this is one of those cases. So it's available on Amazon for $878. Again, this will come with Starfield, which is another great bonus. It's like a $100 game or so, you know, probably more, I don't know. But yeah, there it is. It's a really nice looking black 6800 XT, and that is a good purchase for 16 gigs of memory that will last you a long time. For ray tracing performance in this category, the best card you can get is the RTX 4070. So that is available from MSY UMart as well. MSY and UMart are actually the same store. This is an Inno3D RTX 4070, 12 gigabytes. It's a good amount of memory, $889, and that's the best ray tracing you're going to get in this price category. Now, the best card you can get from memory in this category is actually still the 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte, which is that one I showed you from the previous category. So in terms of just pure memory, 16 gigs is the most you can get in this price category. So, you can pick between the 4060 Ti and the 6800 XT. They've both got 16 gigs of memory, but obviously the 4060 Ti is much cheaper than that, so which is why I've said that that's the better purchase if memory is all that you care about. Alright, so for cards below $1,200 for raster performance, the 7900 XT 20 gigabyte card is actually in stock at the moment for $1,200. That's a $300 saving on this particular one. And this is from umart/MSY. It does say that, now this website is a little bit confusing. It says here out of stock for delivery. But what that means is it's actually just out of stock at their delivery only service. So it is in stock at stores, and those stores do delivery. So that's why their website is a little bit confusing, okay? Now I figured out, how do you know, well, which store is it available in? They've got a Your Store selector here, and if you go to this drop down, it says which stores it's actually available at. And as you can see, all the stores say at other store, at other store, at other store. Okay, and if you go all the way down, there's the Tasmanian one, and it's in stock in the Tasmanian store, and that's the only place it's in stock. So if you order from there, it's going to be shipped from Tasmania. But anyway, that is the cheapest available 7900 XT for only $1,200 on the internet. For ray tracing performance, the best available card in this price range is the 4070 Ti. The 4070 Ti is also available from MSY/UMart. It's $1,166, so a little bit cheaper than the 7900 XT, but it does have less memory. So it's got better ray tracing performance, less memory, and worse raster performance than the 7900 XT. So you just got to pick what you prioritize. Now, this one, on the other hand, says it is out of stock at stores, but is available for delivery. So if we look at the store list this time, it has Post. Post is what they've named one of their stores. It's just their online store. It says in stock. So you can purchase it. It also actually says it's in ACT pickup in stock. So there are a few stores that it is available from. Anyway, it's in stock at UMart, and you can purchase and order online from here. For memory, the 7900 XT 20 gig is also the best amount of memory you can get in that price category. Next, we have the 7900 XTX taking place for best raster performance below $1,500. This is a BioStar 7900 XTX from Scorptech. It is $1,469. Now, there's only there's one unit available from Clayton, Victoria, and I'm not really familiar with BioStar, and probably not many other people are either. But if you want a different brand, there is also a Sapphire Pulse model. This is the exact model that I own. And I have unboxing and review on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, available from UMart and MSY, and so you can get that for $1,500 at the moment. Order online. For ray tracing performance in this category, the 4070 Ti still sits in that position. That's the card which I had already shown you guys in the previous price category, so it retains best ray tracing for this as well. So we'll move on to the next category, which is the best cards below $1,700. And the 7900 XTX still retains best raster performance, even in this price category. It still even if when you go up another $300, two or $300, nothing beats the 7900 XTX for raster performance. However, for ray tracing performance, the RTX 4080 takes the crown. So the cheapest 4080 I could find was $1,700 from BPC Tech. It is now sold out, but it was listed as a saving of $1,000, which I don't think is true. Yeah, it was still the cheapest 4080 available. If you want to get one and not without waiting for it to come back into stock, the next cheapest I could find was the Zotac at PLE Computers for $1,770. So another $70 premium on the other card. So those are the cheapest 4080s I could find. And in our next category is our flagship category is the RTX 4090. It takes all three categories in this price range, and the cheapest I could find is $2,650 from MSY/Umart, and that one is in stock. Moving on, I also have some noteworthy mentions, and we start this off with the cheapest card that you can buy. The cheapest card on the market is the RX 6400 at a measly $159. That sits all the way down here. It's from Computer Alliance, and it is what they call an open stock clearance. So these are boxes which have been opened. It might have been like used in like a demo system, or it might have been, I don't know, to be honest. It might have been returned by a customer on the same day they bought it, or so, return purchase or something. I have no idea. But anyway, it's $159, only 4 gig card. These things do not make too much sense to purchase unless you're building like a little media rig for like a media server in your living room or something like that. But if you're buying a card for gaming, you're better off buying a second-hand card if you're looking at this price range. For $160, you can probably get like a GTX 1070, and that'll get you more memory and better performance than this card. So recommend going to second-hand if you're looking at this price category. The cheapest 8 gigabyte card you can get is the RX 6600 8 gig for $299. That one is available from Scorptech. It is a Swift 210 Radeon RX 6600 8 gigabyte card. Yeah, it is in stock, and it is at least a really nice looking card. It looks like it's just a little 2-slot thing. So pretty neat little card, and I think that comes with Starfield. Let's take a look. The 6600 here. Yes, the 6600 is the cheapest card you can possibly buy that will give you Starfield as well. So it's pretty funny. You're purchasing a $300 card and getting a $100 game with it. So the game is, 1/3 the value of the card. All right, the cheapest 12 gigabyte card that you can get is the 3060 12 gig for $404. So if we move up a little bit here, we have should be this one, $404 from PLE Computers. It is an X-Demo unit, much like the last one we just looked at. So it has been used, but it should still come with its warranty as kind of a new purchase from the retailer. But yeah, $404 for a 12 gig RTX card is a pretty good purchase. So there you go. That is the cheapest 12 gig card you can buy. And then the cheapest 16 gig card is the ARC A770 16 gig for $535. So this one is an Intel reference card, which I really love. I like the way the Intel reference cards look. They're not those gaudy, overly gamer looking sort of things. They look very professional. I wish more manufacturers would make cards like this. But yeah, it's a 16 gig A770 for $535, and Centacom gives you free shipping with that. So there you go, the cheapest 16 gig card that you can purchase. All right, now cheapest RTX card. Now I put this here in case you are really dead set on getting an RTX card, but you're on a budget. The RTX 3050 is the cheapest RTX card still being sold new. And at the moment, you can get that for $340. So this one is available from umart/MSY. It's a $30 discount, and it's a little single fan RTX 3050, 8 gig. There it is, not much more to say about it. You won't get too much performance out of this card. Honestly, at that price range, I would be looking at an AMD card or an Intel card. But if you really want RTX and just to get access to like DLSS or some of the NVIDIA features, that is the cheapest 3050 on the market. Now my card, which I'm going to continue telling you guys to avoid, is this $209 6500 XT 4GB model. Look, they make it look really nice. It does look nice, I have to say. And you know, it's got gamer branding all over it. But the truth is, these cards are terrible for gaming. If you look, again, in this price range, $209, you're still better off probably looking on the used market. But if you really want to get a new card for around that price, $209, I mean, the Arc A380 is a bit cheaper. And you know, that's a 6GB card instead of 4GB. And honestly, it's probably going to be performing better as well. But again, I still recommend in this price range that you look at the used market instead. But whatever you do, don't buy the 6500 XT. It is just not a good card, and you won't be able to run any any games from, say, the past 2 years or so at any decent quality settings anyway. Now here are some really good deals, and one is this one which I'd already shown you guys, the A770 Intel card for just $339. You know, it's an 8GB card. It's one of the lowest price range cards that you can buy. But Intel is making some really good progress with their drivers, like I said. Now, if you look at the performance board, so this board is ordered by performance in raster, okay? So best performing card at the top and worst performing at the bottom. Now here is the Arc A770 8 gig, and it is sitting here at $339 Australian. So as we go down the list we're looking at cards which perform worse than it, take a look at the prices in comparison. So we're going from $340, and as we go down, we got one $450. That's, you know, a whole $110 more and performs worse, right? $404, again, more expensive still and performs worse. $329, now that's a little bit cheaper. That's another Arc card, but $10 difference. You know, it's a pretty easy choice. Spend the extra $10. Keep going down. We've got the 6600 for $300. Now we're way down the chart. So these cards are performing a lot worse than the A770, right? And even further down, we hit the RTX 3050. Now that is $339. That's the exact same price as the A770 8 gig. And look how far down in performance it is compared to the A770. So the A770 is looking like a really good buy in that regard. So honestly, even though Intel is still maturing in their game support and their drivers, in terms of performance and potential performance improvements over time, I think that's going to turn out to be a really good card. And at that price point, it's hard to argue that you shouldn't buy it. The next really good deal, again, is the one I mentioned earlier, but that 4060 Ti 16 gig, if you can get it at that price, you know, their website does actually say that it's out of stock, but they allow you to purchase in advance, and they say they'll get it from their supplier. So you can still put it in your cart, you can still buy it. It's just going to take a bit longer to get to you. But at $669, you know, last time I made one of these videos, this exact card was in the avoid section. So just because of the price drop, you know, the massive price drop, it's now sitting here as a great deal. So there you go. And the last great deal there for $999 is the 6950 XT. Now I want to show you this in the leaderboard as well. Up here we have the 6950 XT for $999. It's got a fantastic 16 gigs of memory. The thing that stands out to me is it's $55 cheaper than the 6900 XT. So it's pretty easy to pick which one of those two you're going to buy. Yeah, this thing performs kind of similar to a 7900 XT. Not quite as good, but close. And that card is another $200. So this 6950 XT is available from ScorpTech. There it is. It is a $100 discount. That's available until the 9th of October, or while stocks last. These cards are actually kind of going into clearance, which is, I think it's why it's gone on sale like this, because we're expecting the new Radeon cards to come out in the next few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts the prices of other cards as well. So just wrapping up, that is something to keep in mind, is that the 7800 and I think it was the 7700 XT were just recently announced by AMD. They should be coming out this week, but I haven't seen any Australian prices mentioned anywhere, so I don't know what they're going to cost. We have to wait and see. It's kind of annoying. I searched for Australian prices, and you land on a website which is like PC Magazine Australia, and the only prices they mention are US prices. It's not useful at all. Anyway, if you want to wait, a week or 2 weeks and see how those cards affect the pricing of all the other cards that are still in stock, I don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to go up or down in price. I can't say. I'm just letting you know that there's some new cards coming out soon. All right, that is it for this week. Again, I would love if you guys could leave a comment. It really helps if you like the video and subscribe. And yeah, I'm thinking of starting a Patreon as well. Let me know what you think. But I'm also trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So my videos are not monetized at all at the moment. I don't make anything from doing this. I put a lot of effort in, and it takes a lot of hours to put this together, 2 or 3 times a month. So if you would leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe, that's all I ask. It actually helps out a lot, so that I can get to a point that I can monetize my channel. So thank you everyone, and I'll see you all next time.